Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. It's been a while since I've done one of my all about series. Because this summer I thought I would do a video all about different green and eco sun protection products. And the first thing I want to say is I'm super fair, as you can tell. I've never gotten sunburned. I've been very cautious about not getting sunburns because of an autoimmune disease that I have. Fortunately, it's in remission. Part of taking care of my health is making sure that I don't get a sunburn, because the swelling and the redness and the peeling that you get from a sunburn is an autoimmune reaction, and so it can kind of trigger autoimmune diseases to start up again, which I really don't want, so I'm very careful to avoid the sun. Second of all, I grew up in Florida, so it wasn't like I've been living in a climate like I am now where for half the year I really don't see the sun. Especially when I was growing up in Florida, I had to put on sunscreen every single day. So I've really come to know what I like and what I don't like in different sun protection products. And the final thing is I only use physical sunscreens. I'm very pro physical sunscreens. I've heard some doctors say that you have to use a chemical sunscreen and a physical sunscreen. But here's my thing, I've been wearing sunscreen my entire life. I really have only been wearing physical sunscreens. My skin is very sensitive and doesn't always react well to chemical sunscreens, especially if I put them on my face. It will make my eyes burn, and I've never gotten sunburned using a physical sunscreen. So I find them to be highly effective. So the fact that I haven't been sunburned really, to me, is indication that you don't need a chemical sunscreen. The physical sunscreens simply just sit on your skin, and the particles of zinc oxide or titanium dioxide end up reflecting the light off of your skin, which is how they work. Just by the nature of how they work, you can get what looks like a white cast from physical sunscreens, but that is how they work. So the question is, do you want to put chemicals on your body that are being absorbed into the skin that react in a chemical reaction with the sun, or would you rather have particles that just reflect the light and maybe make you look a little bit pale? White cast to me is not that much of an issue, just because of understanding where the white cast is coming from. I know it's not ideal or desirable, but I also think it's a little bit of a silly complaint, because you're basically complaining about a product for doing what it is supposed to be doing, which is reflecting light. But anyway, the other thing with using only physical sunscreens is that they are safer for the environment. You may have heard about some sunscreens not being reef safe, so they're harming coral reefs, and those are chemical sunscreens. So by using physical sunscreens, you are using sunscreens that are safer for the environment, that are not causing damage to reefs. So all the sunscreens in this video are in fact reef safe. First off, to jump right in, I have a couple general things I always do. If I'm gonna be out in the sun for extended periods of time, I always wear some sort of hat. A lot of times if I'm like at the beach or really gonna be outside for a long time, like when I was traveling in Spain or when we were on our honeymoon in Charleston, we spent a lot of time outside, I always wear like a big sun hat. A baseball hat is always a great way to go as well, and good thing is they're really kind of in style right now, so just grab a baseball cap. Always have one of those around. My dad, I appreciate him. Because he lives in Florida with my mom, they always have sunscreen in their car and hats in their car, because in Florida, you never know, like what if you are stuck outside for a while, like that is being prepared. Because I live in New England, I don't keep sunscreen and a hat in a car, but I really recommend if you are live in a climate or you are an outdoor person and tend to just kind of like spontaneously go outside for a while, to keep a hat and sunscreen in the car. Also, a lot of clothing companies make sun protecting clothing. I have a couple shirts from Duluth Trading Company that have sun protection in the fabric, so if you're particularly worried about being exposed to the sun, you can purchase those and use that kind of clothing as well. I'll link Duluth Trading Company's sun protecting clothes down below. I really like them. I thought the price was pretty affordable and they were kind of stylish, which I find that a lot of sun protecting clothing can kind of look frumpy, but I like the way theirs looked better. And that was a lifesaver for when we were in Spain. I always wear a t-shirt or a like rash guard shirt when I'm at the beach, and good thing it's kind of stylish, but it also just offers a lot more sun protection. So those are my kind of like broad things that I typically do, but now I'm gonna get into the actual products that I like to use. So I'm first gonna start off with facial sunscreens because those can be pretty dicey. I am gonna show you all the ones that I have currently and kind of explain some of the pros and cons with them. So the first one you probably have heard a number of people talk about, and this is the Suntegrity 5-in-1 facial sunscreen, and I have the sunscreen in the shade Fair. It does come in a range of various shades, so if you have a deeper skin tone and are really worried about really a white cast, having a tinted sunscreen product can help to kind of counteract that white cast. You're still gonna have a bit of one, but it's less pronounced when you're using a product like this. And I will use this under makeup. I kind of use it as like a primer, and I like having these little smaller ones because they're perfect for me for traveling, for like when I go back home to Florida. And it is SPF 50 broad spectrum, and it uses zinc oxide as its main ingredient. I do like this, but I have really oily skin, and that's the first thing I need to say, is that if you have oily skin, I find that SPF products in general just make your skin more oily, period. That has been my experience my entire life. So just keep that in mind. That's kind of something that just comes with the territory. It also may be a little bit of an effect too, that typically when you put on sunscreens, you're outside and it's hot, so it may be like a combination of the two. So that's my thing with this, is that it does make my face more oily throughout the day, but it does work really well. It has protected my face when I've been visiting my parents back home in Florida, and I really do think this is a great product. The only thing about it is it is a bit pricey. The next product I got really recently, and this is the Malibu Protecting Cream, Day Cream, and this is from Hanwha Skincare. And this came in the June Beauty Heroes box. And the Malibu Protecting Day Cream is SPF 30 and only uses zinc oxide as the active ingredient. And I tried this out recently at my husband's graduation. His graduation was outside, and basically I ended up sitting outside for like 5 hours. So I felt like I really put what I have on my face to the test, and I did really like it. Once again, kind of like the Suntegrity, it did make my face pretty oily throughout the day, but when I put it in, it absorbed in very nicely, but it did leave my face feeling kind of moisturized. So it's a cross between like a moisturizer and a sunscreen. Very good base. It's something that's really easy to just put on in the morning. It's not tinted at all. I didn't see much of a white cast before I put on my makeup on, but it is the kind of product that is also great to put makeup on top of. It's because it is more of a moisturizer. I really did like it, and I'm looking forward to using it more throughout the summer. And it does have a nice scent as well. I really enjoy the packaging of this too. It's got this nice black sleek packaging, and this is a locking pump, so you can twist it to lock it and unlock it, which makes it easier for travel. And this is 1 flow ounce, so this is travel friendly as well. So the next 2 products I'm going to talk about are not rated as SPF. So you have to go through a process to get approved to have an SPF listed on your product. And that's an expensive, time-consuming process, so some brands don't go through it. However, I understand as a chemist that if you have zinc oxide or titanium dioxide in a product, it is naturally going to offer sun protection, whether or not it is rated as SPF or not. You don't know like what the SPF is, but it is going to offer sun protection. The first one I'm going to talk about is by Grain Skincare, and it's the Daily Defense Elements Pollution and Sun Cream. So basically what this is it's similar to the Hanwha Skincare as a sunscreen that you can put on your face kind of as a moisturizer in the morning, but it doesn't have a rated SPF. However, it does contain non-nano zinc oxide. And when you see products that talk about non-nano, that simply means that the particles of zinc oxide are larger. The thing with non-nano particles is that when particles get really small on the nanoscale, they can be more reactive than larger particles. There's not that I'm aware of like specific studies showing that like nano zinc oxide or nano titanium dioxide is particularly bad, but the idea that generally larger particles are less reactive, so that is why you will see that distinguished on different products. And so like I said, this doesn't have a rated SPF, but it does contain the non-nano zinc oxide, so I know that it is going to be offering at least some amount of sun protection. I've heard rumblings that Graydon is going to be coming out with a designated SPF product, which I'm really excited to try out, because what I like about this is that it is more matte. It is more matte than the Suntegrity sunscreen. It is more matte than the Malibu Day Cream. So I find with my oily skin that this is one of the best products I can put on my face that help my face not get quite as oily throughout the day. And I learned about this from Jenna Catherine, and that was what interested me in trying this product. Is she was saying like it was a matte sunscreen. And it's not like perfectly matte, but it's definitely more matte than other sun protection products. Actually, I realized I should squeeze some of these out and rub them in for you. So this is the Great in Skincare Elements Protection Cream. And here it is rubbed out on my hand. And it definitely gives my hand a little bit of a white cast compared to the other one, but not too bad. But as you can see, it is quite matte. It's not very shiny, which I appreciate. And I'm gonna now apply the Hanwha Skincare to my other hand, so you can see that one applied as well. And this one also is pretty, not bad on the white cast scale, but it definitely, when I feel my hand, it's definitely more slippery on this hand than it is where I rubbed in the Great Elements cream. And here is the Suntegrity Facial Sunscreen in Fair. As you can see, it's not purely white, it has a tint to it. And I'm gonna rub it out over here next to the Hanwha Skincare. And as you can see, it rubbed out, really doesn't have much of a white cast, but it is similar. Actually, I think it's more slippery than the Hanwha. Yeah, if I feel this and feel this, it's actually more slippery than the Hanwha Skincare, so just something to keep in mind. Okay, and the final like facial sunscreen I'm gonna talk about is another one from Great Skincare, and I only have the sample size of it, and this is the Face Glow. And this product also doesn't have SPF, but it does contain, I believe it's either zinc oxide or titanium dioxide, whichever one it does contain. Probably zinc oxide, considering that the Elements cream contains zinc oxide. So I'm guessing it's zinc oxide. This one is marketed as like a glowy primer. But here's my issue with this. So this is what the sample looks like. And as you can see, it's got a tint to it, which is nice if you have a deep skin tone. But here's my problem with it, is this, which I have on my pinky right here, is much deeper than my actual skin tone. So what happens is when I go to rub this out on my face, you can see that it doesn't actually match my skin tone. So that is my main problem with that product, is you can tell where I put it and where I have it on my skin. But as you can see, it's catching the light, and so it is a light reflecting primer. So if you have a deeper skin tone than me, this could be a really good product as well. It doesn't have a rated SPF, but it does contain sun protecting ingredients. But if you are at all fair, as much as I love Great Skincare, I would recommend avoiding this just because it is not going to work if you're really fair. And it also is a one color fits all, so there's not different shades of it like the Suntegrity. There's just the one shade, which if you're not about the right shade, like maybe a little bit lighter than the shade if you wanted to kind of bronze your skin up a little bit, then this wouldn't work. And the idea behind it was that you could kind of put it on and not really have to put makeup on. That just kind of be like this tinted product that would just kind of blur your face and give a really nice glow to your face. But if you're fair, that's not going to work. Let's move on to lips for a minute, because this is something that many people forget about when they're out in the sun. They forget that their lips have skin on them and that it is important to protect your lips. And I'm gonna start with the product I have on right now, which is the Suntegrity Lip CPR, and I have the shade Sunburst Pink. And I love this. I had a sample of this originally from Petitvoir, and I took it to Spain with me, and I just loved it. So the first thing about it is I really enjoy the color. Like, it is a really nice, fun color. Second of all, it is quite moisturizing, so it feels very comfortable on. Because it does have color to it, you don't get a white cast on your lips. So it looks like you're wearing lipstick, but you're also protecting your lips. Like, it's the best of all options. And it's kind of the perfect thing for vacations. Like I said, I took it with me when we were in Spain. But it's so nice because you can throw it on in the day, like if you're going out to dinner and you want to look a little bit nice. Like, it's kind of the all-in-one product, if that makes sense. You can wear it as a nice lipstick at night. You can wear it as a sun-protecting lipstick during the day. It really is just a great product. It's not super long lasting because it is a bullet lipstick, and so it's not going to stay on like a liquid lip. I really enjoy that it is protecting my lips, it's comfortable, and it gives my lips a nice color. And if you're looking for a more affordable option, another good option for a tinted lip balm is this one from Pacifica. This is the Pacifica Sun Lip Care SPF 30. Oh, sorry, this one, the Sun Integrity one, is SPF 30 as well. So the Pacifica and the Sun Integrity both have SPF 30. So this one is in the shade Peach, and I mean, the packaging is nothing to write home about, but this really is the perfect product to throw on if you're going to the beach, for instance, because it is very low maintenance, it's very affordable, the packaging's not, you know, ridiculously fancy, so if something happens to it, you know, you aren't gonna feel like it's a big loss. So I'm gonna swatch this here on my hand. Here, oh, sorry. There we go. So it's a nice, very kind of neutral pink color, or peach color. It's a very nude tint. It doesn't, you know, you can tell on me that I have a lipstick on because I'm so fair and my lips have no color. So, but for a lot of people, this could be a very nice kind of nude shade. Once again, because it has the tint in it, it's not going to white cast your lips. I really do like this. I think the Sun Integrity Lip CPR formula is better, but this is a really affordable option, and I picked this up physically in my Target. Like, I actually found this in my Target and was able to buy it right there, which I really like. You need to run to your Target and grab one of these for the summer. You will thank me later. So the last lip product I'm going to talk about is this one from 100% Pure. This is their Sweet Mint Lip Balm, and it has SPF 50. So Reagan gifted this to me, and I then gifted it to my husband because my husband is a skier. And that's another thing. Most people forget about the fact that when you are skiing outside in the winter that you can get sunburned because, first of all, the snow will reflect the sun rays, and so it actually kind of can reflect it more onto you. It's similar to being at the beach where the water can reflect the sun rays onto you as well. So you actually need to be very careful when you're skiing about not getting sunburned. And so I gave this to him because I was like, he was going on a ski trip with one of his friends. I was like, this is perfect. You can use this as lip protection. He's a huge lip balm fan. I don't know, it's his thing. Like, if he had to choose like one product he would never live without, it would probably be lip balm. But he's got really soft lips, so hey, I'm not complaining, but it's really funny. So I was like, this will be perfect, and it's mint, and we both love mint lip balms. But the thing with this, man, is it's got a white cast to it. So here, I'm applying it like right here, and you can see it, like that is the white cast on this. It is kind of crazy. And I didn't really realize the white cast is so bad. And then one day I think we were going out to work in our garden, and he had applied it because he wanted lip balm when we were going outside. So he was like, oh, sun protecting lip balm, that's good. And I just like looked at him, I was like, what was on your lips? And he's like, oh, it's this. And then I realized, yeah, it white casts pretty badly. My husband's not gonna wear the Pacifica lip balm, and he didn't really care that it white casted his lips because that's not his personality to really care about things like that. But that is why I really do recommend something like the Pacifica or the Sun Integrity because, you know, when you are going with an untinted lip balm, you can end up with completely white lips that look like you bit into a powdered donut and then have the sugar all over you. Okay, I'm going to wrap up my face sunscreen category with a foundation and a powder that contains sun protection. So the foundation I'm going to talk about is the 100% Pure Superfruits Healthy Foundation. And I have the shade Alpine Rose, and I have it on today. And here's the thing with this. This also doesn't have a rated SPF, but it contains 15% titanium dioxide and 10% zinc oxide, so it is going to provide sun protection. And it is a matte foundation. So if you are like me and you suffer from really oily skin and you know, the whole adding more sunscreens in just makes your skin more oily situation, this can definitely be your friend with that. Is it my favorite foundation? No. I don't love how it sits on my skin. I used to really love this foundation, but as I have tried out other foundations, I find that I typically like a more dewy finish on my skin. But as we've been moving into summer, I've been reaching for this again because it does contain the sun protection, because it is more matte. I know that 100% Pure also has a tinted moisturizer with sun protection. I believe it's SPF 20. I have not tried it, and I have not tried it for a very specific reason. It is because I've heard from numerous people that the shades are different between the healthy foundation and the tinted moisturizer. And the problem with the tinted moisturizer is, even though they have the shade Alpine Rose in both formulas, the Alpine Rose in the tinted moisturizer is like a little bit darker, and this one is like barely working for me. So I'm afraid if I were to get the tinted moisturizer, that would not work for me at all. It would just be too dark. So that's why I've been sticking with this, but I did want to mention it because especially if you have oily skin, this can be a good option to provide some sun protection. Also, I did try out the 100% pure BB cream. They only have 3 shades in that, which is a huge fundamental problem with that, is it made me look like an Oompa Loompa. So the lightest shade, if you are fair like me, is just not a good shade. This, for me, can be a very good foundation for the summer, especially if I want some extra sun protection in my foundation. And what you may be noticing here is I do like to kind of layer my sun protection. If I'm going to be out in the sun a lot, I like to have a moisturizer or like primer with sunscreen in it. Then I like to take a foundation with sunscreen in it. And then I like to also have a powder with sunscreen in it. And I recently picked up this Ilia, I believe this is called, this is called the Moon Dance Translucent Powder. And this is an SPF 20 translucent powder. And it's interesting because it's got like a brush attached to it, and then the powder is down here. So you can actually dispense it up through the brush. Here, you twist the bottom, and then it pops the brush out and dispenses the product, and you can apply this to your face. What I do appreciate about the packaging is you can actually snap the brush out to clean it. You should be cleaning your brush, so you can actually do that with this product. And I've been testing it out, and I do like it. The only thing that's really difficult about it, and why I wouldn't just solely rely on this for your sun protection, is because it's translucent. It's really difficult to tell where you actually got it on your face, if that makes sense. So you can't see if you actually applied it. I mean, I always feel like I'm just like hoping that it's actually coming out based on the fact that the brush turns kind of white. But it wouldn't be something I would just like trust all my sun protection to. But I think this is really nice, especially if you are like on vacation or out at the beach and you need to reapply sunscreen, but you have some sort of makeup on. You can't just like reapply sunscreen that easily. So this is a really great way to be able to touch up, get more sunscreen on your face without disrupting your makeup, because it is a translucent powder. Also good for oil control as well, because adding more powder to your face can help absorb excess oil. Actually, my first video ever on YouTube, you can look back in my history and find this video, was actually reviewing different sunscreens. And since that video, it has now been almost, it's been almost 2 years since that video. I have tried out more sunscreens and really found out what sunscreens I like. And I have to say, my hands down favorite sunscreen at the moment is from Pacifica, and it is the Pacifica Mineral Coconut Probiotic SPF 50 sunscreen. And this is vegan, this is cruelty-free because it's Pacifica, it is reef safe because it only uses zinc oxide, and it's a spray sunscreen. And I wasn't actually going to try this, but my husband really likes spray sunscreens, and I was like, okay, and he actually wanted to try it, and I was like, cool, we'll get it. And then he tried it out, and he loved it, and then I tried it out, and then I loved it, and then I've been telling everyone I met since then that they need to try it. And in fact, one of my friends actually bought it and took it with him to Bali. He was in Bali for a week, so basically he was just sitting on the beach for a week and wore the sunscreen, and it worked well. What I like about it, the scent is really nice. It has a really kind of sweet coconutty scent, but it's not like the typical sunscreen scent. I don't know. It smells like something you want to eat, like a coconut macaroon, which is bad because whenever I put it on, I like want to eat a coconut macaroon, but the scent is lovely. I also like it because it's not as greasy as a lot of sunscreens. It absorbs in well. It's funny because online it actually has quite a few terrible reviews on Target's website, but I think it is really from people not shaking the product enough. It says all over the bottle you have to shake before each spray. Like you need to shake before each use. Keep shaking it the whole time you're dispensing it to make sure you are mixing the sun protection throughout the whole product, because if you're not shaking it, then you could be just spraying out just lotion without the actual sun protection in it. but I have never been sunburned using the sunscreen, and I've been to the beach in Florida. Wherever we go and we wear the sunscreen, we are 100% protected, and neither of us have had sunburns. And also you can pick this up at Target, and it is pricier. It's around $15 for a bottle, but the bottle lasts quite like a surprisingly long time. And when you look at other sunscreens like the Suntegrity body sunscreen, which I have not tried that, but this is much more affordable than something like that sunscreen. My final sunscreen I'm going to talk about is the SPF 50 Sun and Skincare Bronzing Body Butter Coconut Sunscreen from Pacifica. So as you can imagine, I love this, so I wanted to try this. And there are a lot of good things about this. The first thing is that it absorbs in very similarly to the spray sunscreen, so you don't have this like heavy feeling of the sunscreen on your skin. And I like the idea of it adding a little bit of bronze, a little bit of color to my skin, because I am really fair, and I want to have a little bit of color on my skin in the summer, at least fake the tan a little bit. And so I thought this would be a good product to do it. And it is. The little bit of an issue I have with it is it almost tans me a little bit too much for how fair I am. So actually what I've been meaning to do is they have this sunscreen, like the same one, but not with the bronze in the tube. And I'd like to get that so I could actually mix them together so that I could have a little bit of the bronze, but not too much of the bronze. Because right now this is a little bit too much of the bronze. And the other thing about this is it does transfer. Like I'm wearing a white shirt right now, and it's not a sunscreen I would want to wear while wearing a white shirt, for instance, because it would transfer onto that. But I think it is really nice. And I have a picture on my Instagram, so go check out my Instagram. I'm at naturallybeautifulgirl. Go through my feed. There's a picture of me sitting, and I am holding the sunscreen, and you can see one of my legs has the sunscreen on it and one doesn't. So one is bronzed and tan and one is still really fair and kind of white looking. So it does actually really work, and it's really nice, and you can get a nice application. It can be a little streaky the first time you use it, but once you kind of get the feel of it, you can get it rubbed in because it is tinted just straight coming out. You can see what you're doing, which really helps to prevent streaks. I wish they had like different gradations of the tan so that like they had a version for people that are super fair, because this would, I feel like, work for light to medium skin tones. But then also if you have a deep skin tone, the shade of this isn't going to help much either. Yeah, I want to show you what this looks like so you can see. It's similar in tone to the Face Glow actually. Let's see, I'll rub it in. I will sacrifice this hand and have a weird splotch on it for you guys. Okay, so I'm rubbing it in over here, but as you can see, yeah, it definitely gives my hand a nice tint, but the issue is, it's a little much, if that makes sense. Like it's a little much for my skin tone. So you can see the clear line of demarcation. If I put it on my legs, I need to make sure I put it on my arms, and I need to make sure I get it on my chest so that everything is all the same color, and then my face doesn't match it because none of my foundations are that tan. So it's like I said, I could use a little bit less of the bronze. I want a little bronze, but not maybe that much. But anyway, I hope you found this video useful. Hopefully you've learned about some sunscreen options. Let me know what some of your favorite sunscreens are, because let me tell you, there's one thing I love trying, which is sunscreens. I've kind of considered myself a little bit of a sunscreen connoisseur, especially with being so fair and the reasons I've told you for why I am super cautious about sun protection. So if you like this, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up. Also be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you actually are notified of when I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!